Hello and welcome once again. This is the NewMutator bringing you some Myth World Cup 2012 action. It's Game 5 here in the first week of qualifying round matches between the name changers, here led by Adrenaline and Deer. Looks like Zach has changed his name once again. Now this is very interesting. It is now 4 on 6. It looks like Adrenaline is captaining, like I said. Sam is still on the team. Zach, I believe this is Zach still changing his name. Well, that kind of goes with their team name, doesn't it? Mr. Rousey, once again, I'm sorry. Your name is August or something like that. I forgot already, or Autumn, I don't know, and Brutalitops, which I believe is Shyster, but it looks like Ska also joins in, and Ska is kind of the traditional captain for the name changers. Looks like he has the default color, so maybe he just reinstalled Myth 2 for the Myth World Cup to play for the name changers here, so he's able to join in the 5th game. Very interesting development. Once again, we have Vantobia captaining for Deer, Scratch and Ankulator substituting. I kind of wish Bronson was still in this game to kind of help them out, but I bet there's a rule, something along the lines where you can't have more substitute players on your team than actual players, that prevent them from being able to do that. Although I'm not sure, I do not know for sure if that is true or not. I'll probably have to ask or inquire about that. But Sasper, once again, faithful to Deer, showing up and trying to put in a performance worthy of his team. Deer is they're an interesting team. They're kind of built up around the cooperative play experience. So obviously they're not really considered a contender for the championship, but they tend to play pretty much every year anyway, and so they are to be admired for that. And it's interesting that Name Changer is really not fielding a full team for this matchup either. That is uncharacteristic of them, so I'm not really sure how much they want to win this tournament either. That also has been speculated upon by other individuals who are observing the what is happening in the Myth World Cup 2012. So everybody's going to set out, and it looks as if everyone is just going to set up along these entry points, the shallow areas and the middle here. The middle is probably going to see the most action, and there's going to be lesser forces kind of securing these shallow areas so that nobody is able to cross, or at least able to cross without some kind of fight, unchallenged. Okay, and so once again we have Stygian Knights who are impervious to arrows, and once again I'm going to ask if are Stygian Knights considered undead? Why or why not? And if you can answer that, please comment. I would like to know the answer. I'm really curious. Because if they are indeed undead, I believe they're animated suits of armor. I don't think there's anybody in there. Why can't they go underwater into the deep areas there? I mean, obviously, it wouldn't make sense strategically. It would kind of mess up the balance of the gameplay. But you know, is there a rationality? Is there a reason why they can't? Or is that just somewhat arbitrary, an arbitrary decision that somebody made? So it looks like Scratch is kind of late to the party. It's kind of took the long way around. He can get up on this little mesa, but I'm not sure if he's going to want to do that because that does restrict your movement somewhat. And Scott is sending a berserk across just to kind of see what he can see. I believe he's just kind of scouting out Scratch's position and to see what's happening behind the mid-force of deer. Looks like, sounds like somebody lost a white. I didn't quite see what happened, but obviously not very major. Sasper trying to use the fetch to make those arrows disappear, but in the process he loses almost all of his archers, which he didn't have very many to begin with. Just kind of outmatched here at the north crossing. Sam wisely getting his archer out of there, but kind of a well-placed white there. I'm kind of surprised that that Sam fell for it, and Sam expressing surprise. Wow, incredulous that that actually worked on him, having all of his archers whited like that. And it looks like Name Changer's mid is pushing. Wow, that did not work out for deer at all. I'm surprised that they kept any units at all, any of these dwarves. Remember, they are heroes and they didn't drop their satchels. Deer is lucky they were not standing near any of their units when they went off like that. Dwarves are not something you want to clump like that. So Vantobia once again just taking all of his units off of the flag and pushing, just trying to interrupt. There's really nothing he can do. This is the only option he has other than retreating, and he is just getting eaten up by the opposing forces. Wow. And as you can see, there's some very aggressive fetching there by Shyster, able to take out Vantobia's entire force. And once again, I'm very skeptical as to whether deer can pull this one out or not. Scratch trying to chase down Ska's archer, but ultimately falls prey to some arrows, and
flag captured. Victory imminent.
Name Changers easily grab that flag. They only need one more flag, and it's this one right here. They're up, by the way, 72% to 26%, so I really doubt that deer is going to be able to make a dent in the Name Changer army at this point. They do have a Dwarven hero, but he's not going to do much against these fetch here. Trying to protect him, but in the meantime, just getting blasted by adrenaline. And remember, Stygian Knight's very susceptible to explosives, and deer just falls apart at the end here. They have one berserk, trying to be a hero, trying to keep that flag for deer, and fails miserably in the end. Really not surprising win there for Name Changers. These games were pretty lopsided. I mean, deer only fielded 2 players and had to rely heavily on substitute players from other teams and free agents. And even though Scratch did fairly well for his team, as you can see, his ratios just were not up to snuff. Deer just collapsed, fell apart, and not able to not able to break the momentum of the name changers. And as you can see, Adrenaline, 0 losses, 121 damage, just rolled through Deer. As with pretty much everyone on the name changer team, except for Sam and Ska, who met up with some resistance. But Mr. Rousey, Shyster, even Zach taking damage for this game. I'm not really sure who the MVP is. I'm gonna have to think about that a little bit, but I'll get back to that later. Really, not very surprised at all. Deer just got destroyed in this matchup. We'll see if they're able to recover next week for the next qualifying round or not. And once again, name changers taking the match very convincingly, 5-0. And we'll see you for the next matchup.
Team eliminated. Game.